time for layout number 2. Also a pretty simple one once you've got all your prep done. So pull out your directions and turn to page 8. Okay, so we're gonna use the Seabrook floral paper. Let me get that close so you can see which one that is for the base page. And then we're gonna put the large circle die cut on. So this is the one that you already did your texture paste on. And so we just wanna kind of center that. Let me see, they're basically saying about an inch up. It's kind of hard to do when you're doing a circle. Let me grab my ruler. There we go. And then you're gonna kind of wanna just make sure that these two sides are about an inch in too. So get your glue out. I bet you I'm gonna need a refill soon. All right. Get that down good. And an inch up and an inch in. So you just kind of judge it, and then you're putting that that texture paste up towards the top, about like that. All right. Then we're attaching 2A, which is the cardstock piece, like that. And 2A is going to be 4 1/4 inch down. When I first put the example together, I put on the, what did I do? I put on something wrong. I don't think you have to put on, yeah, you don't put the die cut on until after 2A and 2B. I think I started to put something on wrong or something like that, but I remember when I was making this that I definitely had started out wrong in the order of the die cuts. All right, so 4 1/2 inches down, 4 1/4 inches down, and just butt that up against the flush with edge. And that should lie flat for you. And then in the middle of that is gonna go this piece. So I wanna welcome any new people that haven't been to Creative Design Studio before. I'm glad you're here. And this is just gonna go, looks like they sort of tried to center this between the two, but didn't quite center it. But I'm gonna center it, I think, between the top and the bottom of that piece. I guess it's 3/8 of an inch. All right, like that. 2A and 2B. Now we go to the floral die cut. Now this was a little tricky because of, I was trying to match it up to the way they had it. And you have to make sure you've got it on the right side, the correct side. And I think it's sort of like this. So see the side with just a little bit of leaves here, that's gonna go upper left. So if you do that, I think we'll be good. Let me see again. It was very confusing because I was looking down here and I didn't really see this piece, you know, and yet this one is only supposed to be up, so maybe that's not right. Let me see. I wanna make sure I get this right. It might be the other way around. Maybe it's this way. Because that's just a little bit, well, gosh, that still doesn't look quite right. One more look. It is a little confusing. Maybe that's, yeah, that's probably it. Okay, so let's take that back, and it's the small group, I think, is down here, and it somehow gets covered by a picture. So this small group of leaves will go lower right, not upper left. And then you're gonna push that up a little bit. So this is hanging, so you've got about 1 inch of the stem showing. That's what I'm gonna recommend. About 1 inch of the stem showing up above the blue paper, all right? So I'm gonna flip this upside down, glue it, and then we'll flip it back over. So that was one thing I think I got wrong on the original example page. because it just didn't look quite the same. Now, does it matter? No. Really does it? But if you want to make it look exactly like how Close to My Heart did it, this should be it. Make sure you're getting glue on even the skinny little part between the leaves, because you want it to lay down flat. And I'm just basically dotting all these things. All right. Hope you guys all had a good New Year's Eve and good Christmas. I did. Enjoyed time with family. And New Year's Eve, I did enjoy time with some of my scrapbooking buddies as we did a retreat. All right, flip it back over. And remember, I'm gonna put this about 1 inch above there. And you're just gonna try to line it up pretty close to the outside edge of that circle. It should fit fairly close there. And try not to let too much glue show. I'm just kind of pressing it close to that circle. It might be just slightly outside of it. And if you did get any glue, like I did, glue eraser, one of the best tools ever, wipes it right up. All right, I think pretty good there. Okay, so after we do that, we're attaching 2C, which is the big photo. Now, remember, those pictures are me, my husband in Hawaii. So this is a really fun layout for me to finally get to do. I've been in the catalog before, but just by myself, never with my husband, and they were always pictures that Close to My Heart had taken at events and not ones I had taken. We hired a photographer in Hawaii. I've never done that since my wedding, but somebody recommended it, and I just thought that would be a great idea. Okay, it's gonna be 3 7/8 inch down, and then how much over? 2 7/8. So I'm gonna need my pencil, I think. Let's see if I still have it here. And I'm just gonna make a tiniest little mark on one of these so I know how far up I wanna go, and then 2 7/8 inch over. Like this. All right, and let's get that down. So I'd love to hear in the comments what you ended up doing for New Year's and Christmas, and did you have a good time? Now you can always look at, since there's lines on this paper, if you got your lines fairly straight up and down when you put it down, that helps you line these up a little bit. Okay, like that. Now, gonna take out your trimmer, because we're gonna trim down this PML card. Did I already trim it, or is it? Oh yeah, let me see. Let me see if this was already measured a good place. I think that was. Yeah, so that was 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 that was down there. So what I'm doing is to make a background and using this Picture My Life card, so it doesn't go to waste or anything. We're gonna use that as a mat. So I'm gonna put that down like that, and then you put your photo over it. Now this is not a way you want to use your PML cards if you aren't trying to use them up or whatever, you know. I mean, you can. Oops, this is where I have to cut. You can absolutely use them that way, but I was trying to use as much of the pack as I could, so this was another way to do it, is to do mat. So you're gonna have to cut your photo down to, see what I had it at 4 by 6, so like to 5 7/8. You're just taking an 1/8 off, and that should work, I believe. And 3 7/8. And then that should fit on there. And now you've got a mat made out of a PML card. Now this particular one not as interesting, but a lot of the PML cards are pattern cards, so that would really be a cute look. But that's the one I chose to do. And then after that, we're going to do the next photo, which is a little gray square like that. And let's see where this is gonna go. It's gonna go at 5/8 and a half an inch, or half an inch, and 3 up. So I'm gonna go 3 up, and then I'm gonna go 5/8 inch over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you could just mark that with your pencil at 3 up. So I'm just gonna mark right here at 5/8 of an inch. And then I'm gonna pull it back because the second half of the photo is gonna be at a 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna go up like about 3 inches, 3 1/4 inches, 3 1/4 inches to 6 1/4 on here. And all that means is that I'm just gonna tip that photo that way. Now I'm gonna put just a little powder on this because I put some adhesive there, because it is gonna overlap slightly. So I'm gonna put a little powder on the left-hand side of the photo, or you can just not put any adhesive on that side, so that when it overlaps, it doesn't do anything there. And then I think I had my white eraser, because I see just a tiny bit of pencil mark there. Hopefully you're just covering up your pencil marks, but mine came pretty close there. All right, so that goes there, slightly tipped. Do you have to actually measure that all out? No. You could just eyeball it. But yeah, it's just slightly tipped there. I'll put that down. All right, and I think that is it. It's 2A through 2D, and then we just decorate. So this will be pretty simple. Okay, let's start with the right-hand side there, and I'm gonna get my big cheat sheet up here so I can look at that. Okay, you're gonna need the 2 white flowers that you punched out. And look like that. And we're going to glue those down. One you can just slightly tuck behind the photo or put right next to the photo. My photo's lifting okay, so I'm gonna just slide it under there. If your photo doesn't lift, then just don't tuck it. And then let's do, before I put this one down, let's grab this leaf, because that looks like that goes down first. And I'm gonna have the top leaf kind of turning outside towards the outside of the page. And it goes like this. And just lay that down. And then put the little white flower on it. Somewhere, not that important which place. And then we have the little green, like that. And that's gonna go curve towards the inside of the page, and just tuck it or stick it there like that. And I know it kind of practically disappears on that color, but let me show it to you closer. All right, and then we need our sticker, which is going to be this one right here, 3. And let's pop that up. Got my non-stick scissors. And I'm just gonna put the adhesive on here. Yep, that'll be good. A couple pieces down there, instead of trying to attempt to put it on my flower. I find it's a little bit easier most of the time to do this. Like that. Lay that down. We'll color that later with some shimmer. All right, let's do the second half here, or the middle. And that's gonna be wonderful, the word wonderful. You might need your little piercing tool to just kind of pull out those inserts in the word. And be gentle when you're pulling this up so you don't tear it, which I have done in the past. Just poking out the little holes as I go with my piercing tool. I'll probably have my hand right in the way so you can't see. Practically pushing them into my finger so they'll just stick to my finger. And one more there for the word without the W. And then you just want to kind of center it. I've got my W. I know my W is going to be right over here, big. Let me see if they actually, yeah, they kind of put it over the mat a little bit. And just try to get it on there straight. They tend to tilt. And sometimes these stickers don't stick down really good, so you can always add glue to them. It's looking good so far. Now I'm going to pull off that W. Oh, I got little stickers all over my fingers. All right. And one more piece to hook out there. All right. And then the W. Get that all stuck down. And then I'm gonna get all these little pieces, all these stickers off my fingers. All right. Well, at least I don't have nails to mess up anymore, because ever since COVID, I kind of got out of the mode of getting my nails done. All right, now it's A. It's gonna be next, and that's right above the word wonderful. This texture paste looks awesome. I know it's hard to tell on film, but let me tell you, it looks awesome, and I really like the way they did it, where we pounced on it with the color rather than what I had before, which I'll show you. Before, I just colored the texture paste, and that's much darker, and the wonderful doesn't pop out as much as it does here. Let's see if I've got that on straight. I feel a little crooked. Just this part I think is a little crooked. But yeah, I can see why now they had us just pounce on it with lightly with color, because that looks better. All right, and next is going to be, I think we got some hearts. Yep. So you should have the larger heart and the smaller heart. And we're gonna put those down, and we'll shimmer them later. One goes up here to the left of the W, kind of upper left. And then right above the W for the big heart. Get that on there, looks awesome. This page is beautiful. You know, if you gotta get your picture in one of the layouts, it's nice that they picked one of the really pretty papers. All right, now we're gonna get a little more complicated on the left-hand side, so let's see what we've got here. Start, just looking at layering, I think this piece. So it's kind of a little wonky leaves there. And I believe it's gonna curve towards the inside of the page when I get done here. And that is gonna go down here, kind of crawling over the embellishment that's already on there. Take that on there. And then you're gonna need the little green piece that looks like this. And that's also gonna kind of curve in towards the page. And goes off to the side of what you just put down. I hope I got that up high enough. I want it to all be covered by the stickers. I'm gonna lift it just a little higher there. And then it looks like we've got a sticker. So I believe it's this one, upper right here. And that's gonna lie down kind of like this. And then we've got this floral thing. Let's put this down now. Don't put glue on the right-hand side of it, only put glue on the left-hand side. And I gotta poke something out of that middle too. So I'm just gonna glue the left-hand sides because the right-hand side will go slightly over the photo. Close to my heart likes to do that, don't they? I wish this was self-adhesive. Wouldn't that be awesome? All right, so kind of about in the middle of the photo. Press it down. It's gonna be, may need a minute to dry, so I'm gonna hold that down while I'm looking at my next sticker, which is gonna be these two right here. The pine bough. And I'm going to powder it. And then stick it down kind of over that flower. And then one more pine bough. It's gonna go about a 1/4 of an inch or so away from that. And then a pine cone right here in between. And then a big, this leaf right here, kind of the big wide one. And then just kind of layer that over everything. The 2 pine boughs and the pine cone. And then we need another big leaf, which is right here. And that is gonna, oh, actually, before we start that, let's do one more pine bough. I see that that's tucked under. So up here, almost to the top of the border piece there, or whatever you wanna call it, the paper that we put across the center, almost to the top, put a pine bough there, and then the leaf over it. Like that. And then we have this, let's see, oh, I need one more. I think we're gonna need another one of those wonky ones. And we're gonna turn it this way. So look at it that way and then turn it upside down, get your glue on it. So much layering. All right, and that's gonna go kind of crawling out of this section. Let that go down. And now let's get another yellow buds. That'll be over here, kind of layered on top of that flower, but not quite into the photo. And then these two, this piece here and this piece here. Let me show it to you in a close-up. Those two pieces. So first, the berries go next to the yellow flowers. And then this long leafy petally thing kind of sticks out up above the border. And that just leaves us our flowers. So that's this one, and this one lays down flat, and then we'll pop up the big one. So when you're doing this and you've layered, and you got all these little stems, the stems you want to cover up, right? So make sure as you're putting down your flowers that that covers up any of that stem look there. And then this big old yellow flower we're gonna pop up, because that just links everything together. It groups them all together. Another thing that you find common in artwork is groupings. And I'm just gonna put some foam tape down to hold this whole thing together. And we will spice it up with some shimmer brush. I think we're almost done, except for putting a little bit of the beads in the center. So that, let's see how we got that kind of off to the side like there. See how that covers all those little stems. All right, life goes down here. That's right here. Pull those off, and then I'm gonna poke the things out. Don't forget you've got a dot at the top of the eye there, so we're gonna get that in a second. And I'm gonna poke the little inserts in here. That's called weeding, right? For you Cricut art users. I finally have understood how vinyl works on the Cricut, and I'm going to attempt to do some vinyl lettering and stuff. It took me a while to kind of look it over and understand it, but now I get it. So we'll be doing that at some point, decorating my machine or something. Okay, put life down and then go back and get that dot for the eye. Right there. Stick it there. And a little heart. Last little piece. Right here. They do a good job with decorating, that's for sure. I've gotten good at layering things myself and doing this on my own, but boy, I've learned so much from just doing their workshops over and over again and really getting that concept of how to group things and how to, what do they call? I can't even remember the word for putting these into little groups. Ugh, it'll come to me. Okay, so let's do the beads first. You're gonna need your strong glue. Not too many. This is a pretty small section of bead. I'm gonna put a big glob this time so maybe it'll stick better to the flower and not to my fingers and my scissors. All right, I put those down. That looks pretty good already. And I may just, like glitter, just dump them off. Because I think I got a good bunch in the middle there. That one and that one. All right, and shimmer brush. Now with our shimmer brushes, you shouldn't have to squeeze too often on those. So they really flow out well without you squeezing. Sometimes you're gonna come out too gloppy if you are actually try to squeeze. So I just paint and rarely have to squeeze it. And these things last forever. So if you ever want to get a something that's really worth the money. I think they just run like maybe $6 or so. These are definitely getting your money's worth. It just takes forever for it to run out, and you know how often I use them. So we're gonna do the wonderful too, because why not? Sparkle it all up. And just like that, and then over here, on the flowers, get around where the artist has drawn, kind of, and I do the middle too. I like to do that a little bit. And then a little bit over here, wherever the artist has kind of drawn the lines, is where I'm sticking some of this. And down here. Let me see, I have a stray sparkle there. And I think I'll do this life and this little heart. And I see already my life sticker is starting to pop up. So that's where you just add a little extra glue if you've got that issue. But I also find the page protectors keep those things down pretty good too. See, I haven't squeezed once. Just letting it flow right onto the sticker. And then we're almost done with this page. All right. That is the first page for the second layout. Let's move on to the second page. Page 2 always goes so much faster because we already know how to do it, right? Gotta love that. Sorry, just took a little drink and it caught. All right, now on this one, you've got your upper right and lower left section that you have done with the texture paste. We're gonna go 1 inch up and 1 inch in on the sides with this first circle. And keep those texture paste areas the way that you did them. And try to keep the stripes straight up and down. That will help you. And then remember the next part was putting the center across the circle. So we got the two pieces here. And let me look at my directions. So I have my measurement again. And that is going to be 3 7/8 inch down. So I'm going to turn that. Go to 3 7/8. And I'll kind of put that kind of in the middle. Like that. 3 7/8. Let me make sure that's right. Something feels wrong. Nope, 4 1/4. Okay. I'm glad I checked because that 3 7/8 looks like it's the mats. So we went 4 1/4. That's gonna go across the middle here. I just got glue on my paper. So hold your ruler steady and then match it up flush with the edge of the page. And then lay it down. And let me get that glue out of the way. And the other one's just going to go in the center, which is 3/8 of an inch away from the edge of the blue paper, top and bottom. And I can eyeball that one. Like that. That. I think that's left it just a little bit. I think it tilted. All right, good. Now the big die cut. And let's see how they put it on this one. So I'm going to look and see on the page. It looks like the two big sections, I think that they've got the one that has the most leaves on it is the upper right. Yeah, that looks right. So let's get that on. Turn it upside down and glue. All right. So I had a good time last night. Went to a pinball tournament. I ended up playing the 9th best player in the entire world. Can you imagine? I went up there, and I don't know how many of you know much about pinball, but the longer you can keep your ball in play, the more score you rack up. And mine, you know, I'm very, very amateur. And so he went first because it was he was up in the tournament first, and we're watching him, waiting for him to finish. And within just, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, he already had a free game, which you have to get a pretty high score to get a free game. And then he just kept going and going and going. And I'm trying to think if it was like 20-25 minutes maybe that he had that ball in play. It was mind-blowing. And I didn't know at that time that he was the 9th best player in the world. I'm just thinking, well, this guy's really good. And we're just gonna kind of put this almost towards the top, it looks like. So like the leaf up here pretty close to the top, maybe an inch or so from the top of the circle. And then just kind of layer that around the circle. So he finally loses his ball. And then I was number 2. And then this little kid was number 3. And then another person who is an incredible player and actually ended up being the third in the tournament. And the first guy ended up being first. And he came and played. So I was playing 2 of the best players in the tournament. And of course, didn't do well. It's so much fun. We just love it, my husband and I. We practice pinball quite a bit. And then we heard about these tournaments. And I was just sitting at the place where the pinball was one time. And this girl comes up to me and says, "You want to be in the women's tournament tonight?" And I'm like, "What?" So I got in it and it was fun. And so then we started to get into the main tournament that was both men and women. And this is our second time doing it. Super, super fun. The first time I was, I don't know, like second to last, you know, way, way down at the bottom. But this time I actually was 30 out of 83 people, which is a shock. It's a real shock. All right, so let's put on our mats next. I believe that's it. Yep, and those are the ones that are going to go 3 7/8 inches from the top. So grab your ruler, and it's going to be 1 inch from the side. My ruler has gotten covered with powder. And 3 7/8 inch from the top. So 1, 2, 3 7/8. And then each one after that will be 1/8 of an inch next to it. My ruler's so dirty that I'm gonna have to eyeball these. But I'm pretty good at doing 1/8 of an inch. I knew this would run out eventually. All right. And we're at 1/8 of an inch away from that one. And one more. Anybody out there have a hobby other than card making or scrapbooking? I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments. Remember, the comments are where we pick our prizes from, so you want to definitely be commenting on everything. And we do a different, depending on how many comments we have and how many participants, we do a different amount of prizes each time. So if there's tons of people commenting, we do more prizes. All right, get your photo on there or your photo placeholder. Or nothing at all. And this one. Like that. All right, what do we got here? Start doing some of the decorating. Upper right, we'll start there. I lose my sticker sheet. Nope, here it is. Okay, so first one down looks like a pine bough. So grab the one down here that's, actually you might as well grab both of them at the same time because they're both going down up here. So upper right, kind of about I don't know, 1/2 inch up from the mat. Stick one pointing there and one pointing more up. And then grab these leaves right here. And you can tuck them under the thing, or you can move it up a little bit. It doesn't matter if your photo lifts like mine's kind of lifting. I'm gonna just put that right there. And then we've got this piece. And that's gonna go tilting the top towards the inside, but it doesn't matter. And that's gonna go right over the second or the first bough. And over on the left-hand side over here, we're gonna put this little, the little buds kind of tucking out to the left. And where are those? Right here. What do you call those? Whatever those are, that's what we're doing. Berries. It must be some type of berry, right? And that's gonna go kind of in between all of that stuff. Then a pine cone. Right here to over the green, the solid green leafy thing. And then a flower. And that's up here. And then we'll pop that one up. And that's gonna kind of go right there. So let me, I'm gonna put my pop tape right in the middle. Not much though, because it's a pretty small flower. So one little piece there. And one here. It's just gonna lay over all the stems. Sticky. Like that. I believe that's it, except for a heart. And the heart's gonna go over to the left a bit onto your texture paste. Like that. Okay, that's that section. This section isn't decorated. And then over here, you had this white piece, banner, place to put a date or whatever, or names of the people in the photos. Don't forget to put that. At the very least, if you're not a journaler, put your names. The names and the dates and the place would be great too, so that people can look at it for years and know exactly who's in the picture. All right, down here to the left, we're going to start with, let's start with some small leaves that we had. They're right here. Those were ones you punched out, 2 of them. And I'm going to just put the glue right there. Very close to the photo. I think I did it the wrong direction, but. And one here. Like that. And then over to the right is going to be this piece. And this is going to, some of it is going on the photo. So just do towards the bottom of this piece. And then layer it over the photo. About an inch from the right-hand side of the photo. Then we've got a sticker right here. And before I put that down, I'm going to put one more thing down. So hold on to your sticker. And let's do this one too. So that's that green piece. And that's going to go kind of coming out of that blue set of leaves. And then you can stick your sticker down there. And that's just kind of keeping the stem pointing off this way in the shape of that circle, you know, kind of going along the line of this circle. And then over here is going to be a white flower. I've got glue again. What would I do without this thing? All right, little glue right here for your white flower. And then over here is going to be this blue flower that we cut out. And you can glue the whole back side of that one. And put it on. All right, let me check my camera. Good, everything's looking nice. I always get paranoid that I'm not recording because I've had that happen before. And then I had to go and start all over again. And sometimes I don't have the whole workshop again. So if I'm paranoid now, you know why. Okay, we're gonna do this flower, sticker flower. Oh, I think I put it too low. Let me move that up. It's gonna go up where the stems are, not down on the leaves. There we go, right underneath the photo. And kind of dyeing like that. I might put a little powder underneath this, since I see it's just gonna slightly layer. And one heart. And that's all the pieces that we have. I'm just tilting that heart a little bit. All right, now, I think got everything, yes. And so we're gonna go back up here and put some little beads in on the 2 blue flowers, just in the middle. You shouldn't need too many of them. And I'm just putting glue on both of them at the same time here. And a couple more. So you just put it on like glitter and then kind of push it down into that glue. I'm just gonna do it with my finger this time, hoping that helps. I'm going to let those fall off, the ones that are extra. And don't lose them, because you want to use them later. All right, now some shimmer brush. Let's start with around the flower's edge, just a tiny bit. I like to do the whole yellow flowers and the berries. Could do the pine cone too, I'm not gonna do it. The heart. And then down here the same. A little bit on the flower, coming out of the middle there. And let's do this flower. So I think that'll be pretty with some shimmer on it. I think we'll be done. Except for the flip-flops, which we'll do last because everything needs to dry. Yep, oh, and this little tiny heart. All right, let me grab the other page. And here we go. Left page. Go the other way so you can see better. Left page and right page. And then we will move on to layout number 3.